What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and here I am with fan answers. This is the other half of the fan interaction that I started last week. This is what the series is going to be called, I think. I know I'm not very creative with the series, you know, Ask the Phoenix, you know, Spaz and OKFabe Tackle. This one is just, I think it's just, I couldn't come up with any other better name for it. This is going to be fan interactions and answers. One video will be fan interaction, and one will be fan answer. As I say, not always on the Fridays, but roughly once every 2 weeks I will come up with a question. On the odd week I will come up here with an opportunity to share the answers. And it's not the way most people do things. It's like, oh, I put up a question. This many people chose A, this many people chose B. What I want to do is I want to share your guys' thoughts with you guys, if that makes sense. I want to spread more than just my voice on this channel. This is kind of the opposite of you guys contributing as well as you do for my Q&As. You guys throw me a question for the Q&A, there's one question, there's one answer, and the one answer is coming from me, which, as fun as that is, and you guys know because I just did one a couple of days ago, this way, each question that gets tossed out has as many answers as you guys want to, as many of you want to answer me. That was horrible English, I'm fully aware. But for the first one, I've got about 8 answers for a new series. I figured that's pretty cool. My first Q&As were like 5 questions each, so this is a good thing. I tossed out the question: should we eliminate former world champs from the Royal Rumble match? The reason I brought this up was that I think the Royal Rumble personally is designed and is meant and is destined to bring new people to the main event scene and new people to the title scene, and if you have former champions winning it, it kind of defeats the purpose. Kind of like Money in the Bank a couple years ago, where they had the all-champion Money in the Bank, which I thought was ridiculous. So I put the question out to you guys: should we eliminate former world champions from the Rumble? The Zohan says it's a nice idea, man. I like it when people do fan interactions. I wouldn't get rid of all former world champions. It's nice to have a good, entertaining mix of seasoned veterans and legends and young guys who haven't touched the world title yet. What I would do is get rid of anybody who has previously won the Rumble match so the WWE can't be lazy. Fair point. No one should be winning it twice. Shawn and Hogan won it twice in a row. Austin won it 3 times in a row. Cena and Batista won it twice as well. Imagine if this rule existed last year. We would have gotten a lot less angry if wrestling fans... would have had a lot less angry wrestling fans if Batista didn't win and it was Daniel Bryan. Good questions, man. Looking forward to the results. I'm really going to try and not make this about Daniel Bryan and the Rumble because of current events and another video I have coming up soon. But he makes a good point. He's sort of switched my my focus a little bit from former champs to former Rumble winners. Now, you're absolutely right. This would stop the WWE from being lazy, but it would also... it would take away that part of when you run down a champion's resume, you know, 5-time former champion, 3-time tag team champion, 1-time Intercontinental champion, and hey, 3-time Royal Rumble winner, or in the case of Money in the Bank, 2-time Money in the Bank briefcase holder for somebody like a CM Punk. I think his idea is good as well. I get. You know, a lot of champions are former champions one time and had a shitty run, somebody like a Jack Swagger. So I understand in that vein how the rule that I'm suggesting would kind of shoot a lot of people in the foot and keep them from ever having a true WrestleMania moment. That would be the downside to what I've suggested. What he suggested here is to have no former Rumble winners in the Rumble is another interesting concept, and it's another one that I think they could do, and not to beat a dead horse, but it is true. It would keep the WWE from being lazy. Mike Crater sent me a 2-part answer on Facebook. I don't mind, I said I would include this, but I want to reiterate to you guys, not to be a pain in the ass and not because I'm being all snobbish or whatever. If you respond to me on Twitter, if you respond to me on Facebook, the chances of your answer getting lost in the shuffle go up exponentially. If I go to the comment section of a particular video and I know that all the answers are going to be there, and you put your answer there, your answer will be included, whether it be a Q&A, whether it be a fan interaction like this, or anything else that I decide to do. So unless, I just want to reiterate, and again, not to be rude, If you want your answers to be read, pop them in the comment section of the video. If you do not have your own YouTube account and you just watch me by looking my channel up every time, that's, first of all, fantastic. Second of all, I really don't know at that point. Maybe send me something on Facebook, but put it in maybe in a private message. My Facebook is unlocked. You don't need to be my friend to send me an unsolicited message, but make a point of saying, hey, I saw this, I really want to be included in your whatever. My phone is going off because reasons. For those of you that don't, as I say, for those of you that don't have a YouTube account and can't leave a comment, or I don't know how that works, you can find me on Facebook, but send me an actual PM or a messenger message, and I will make some sort of note, some sort of point, and set your question aside. Anyways, enough of that. Mike Crater, I believe is how you pronounce your last name. Sorry if I messed that up. I think it's a very interesting concept. It would guarantee younger talent getting the pushes they deserve and eliminate clusterfucks like last year's decision with Batista. I'm not sure if I would completely eliminate former world champions, though. Just cut them down a little. Guys like Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler are considered to deserve it more than any other this year, and that would have put them out of the mix. World champions, maybe not. I would take that criticism to heart. WWE ran neck and neck with 2 world championships, but never ever did the world championship hold a candle to the WWE title, unless it was being held by, like, say, The Undertaker or Edge or Jeff Hardy, my boy. So maybe I would make the distinction former WWE champions, not former world champions, because let's be real, before the Intercontinental Championship came back to prominence, the world title kind of took its spot as sort of the secondary belt. So I do get what you mean. The secondary title on the secondary show for a long time is what the world title was. So maybe I might get more specific, and I might say former WWE world champions. Mike Salim. Okay, for those of you that didn't see the video last week, I gave a rundown of what the Rumble would look like this year with the current roster if we put my action into play. I basically rhymed off everybody on the roster that's never been a world champion. Mike Salim says, I simulated this Royal Rumble match on WWE 2K15 and it turned out really cool. Fantastic! That's you know what? Awesome. You know, I would almost say I wish you would put a video up of that, and if you did, toss me the link down in the box below. I'd love to see what that Rumble looks like, because there's a lot of, and I don't want to, you know, start playing favorites and whatnot. There's a lot of talent on the WWE roster that's never been a world champion of any sort. So I think that would look really cool, even if it's just in video game format. Logan Claiborne, I really like the concept of doing these interactive videos. As far as your question goes, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to happen every so often, but only on occasion. The way I see it, the Money in the Bank ladder match should happen at WrestleMania, and that match should be where there's no former world champions eligible for the match. But the Royal Rumble is an opportunity for everybody to have a shot. The people like The Miz and Dolph Ziggler who have been world champions before but have never really been given the ball completely would be eliminated if you took all the former champions out. So my answer would be no, unless it happened once in a blue moon. Okay, there's a couple different things he's put in there. Basically, he's taken my rule, my former champion rule, and he's applied it to the Money in the Bank instead of the Royal Rumble, which is a lot easier. The Money in the Bank at most only had maybe 8 or 10 guys. It's a whole lot easier to look at the roster and pull out 8 or 10 really great talents that have never been a world champion than 30. That is fully right. Also, total side note, totally not related to my initial question, but yes, Money in the Bank definitely belongs back at its home at WrestleMania. As for the Rumble itself, he says it should only be on occasion. I could agree with that. I've said before, when people ask me about the 40-man Rumble, I say that should be something that happens once every 5 years. It shouldn't be every year, it should be every 5 years to make that world title match at that particular WrestleMania seem extra important, as if WrestleMania is not already important enough. So if somewhere in the middle between the 40-mans you want to have that no champion Rumble, I think that could spice it up. I think if we started doing little things like this to the Rumble every year, and each Rumble has a different twist on it, you know, one day we do my rule that I'm suggesting here, the next year we do the 40-man, the next year we go back to a standard, maybe, you know, go old school, downsize it to a 20-man Rumble, and really, really get the cream of the roster crop. I like that, so that each Rumble is a bit different. If that's, I think that's what you're suggesting anyway. If I'm totally wrong, you can put it down in the box below. But yeah, taking the rule that I've done here and applying it to Money in the Bank would also work. It would be the opposite, like I said before, of the Money in the Bank that was only former champions, which made absolutely no sense, where it was WWE basically saying, yeah, we're not going to push anybody new, which didn't make any sense at all. The next one, I really don't know how to pronounce your name. I want to say Mizark, because it's MZRC 10, so I'm going to say Mizark 10. If that's wrong, correct me down in the box below. Ask somebody like Cheney. Once you correct me once or twice, I will pronounce your name correctly from now on. I'm not really sure if the roster is deep enough, there aren't enough people to build up to that level in a Rumble, and it wouldn't be completely out of the blue, then okay. But right now, that's not the case. In my opinion, the winner seems like it could be only one of two options. That is a problem. That is a problem. When I made the Fantasy Rumble, in the middle of asking my question last Friday, I did say that there were a couple of guys that were going to be there that would be filler, that would be, you know, definitely not going to win, might be a comedy moment, might be a comedy spot. And let's be real, guys. You have to have guys in there that are not going to, that you know aren't going to win. You have to have the Heath Slaters and the R-Truths and the Kofi Kingstons and whatever, because the Rumble match needs to go. It needs to bring you up and then bring you down and bring you up and bring you down. Because if it's solid action the whole way through, the fans get exhausted. It's an hour-long match. It's why it's so hard to book an Iron Man match properly. Is that it's hard to keep the fans' attention on one thing for an hour, or at one level for an hour. If you've got say you take all the fast guys from NXT, you've got a fast-paced Royal Rumble. The fan, as I'm not saying this in the literal sense, but it's, excuse me, as far as absorbing the product sense, gets exhausted. So you need to have those moments of breath. The prime example I can think of is when Grandmaster Sexay and Rikishi eliminated everybody else in the room. They're the only two ones in the ring. They were about to go at it with each other. Scotty 2 Hotty was the next guy entered into the Rumble, brought down 3 pairs of sunglasses, they danced in the Rumble. I mean, Rikishi ultimately ended up tossing the two of them out while they were dancing, but you needed that brief comedy moments, because, you know, you laugh, you take a breath, it's light, and then the next guy that comes in that's a badass is impactful again. So I won't say you're going to have 30 guys that are 30 potential champions in the Rumble. You can't do it that way. The match has to have more dynamic than that. But I will admit, going into this Rumble specifically, we had one of two guys that were going to win. We had three other guys that we wanted to win or would have backed up in winning, but you had two guys. It's like you went in knowing it was going to be Roman or it was going to be Daniel Bryan, and that's bad. So yes, absolutely, you would have to build up more talent. You would have to make the Royal Rumble field seem rich, if that makes sense. I 100% agree. WWE right now, as much as I said last week that the roster right now, with the talent that's there right now, could do this, and the Rumble could be good, you would have to thicken the roster. And I don't mean add more people to it. You would have to make more people believable, as Mizark says here. I am by no means saying that the WWE is ready for this rule to come into effect tomorrow. I'm saying, in theory, down the road, it could be something that really adds an element of unpredictability to the match. Let me just take a pause here and mention as well. Just because I want to throw a twist on the Rumble doesn't mean I have any problem with the Rumble match concept. The Rumble match concept is one of people's most favorite moments of the year because it's so unique. Unfortunately, a far down second used to be the Survivor Series, but it's fallen from grace beyond repair, as far as I'm concerned, and got replaced by things like Money in the Bank and what was the other one I was going to mention? I don't know. Elimination Chamber, that doesn't exist anymore. I think the last response we have is from ABJ504. I think it's a good concept, but if we do it like that, the final four would be Bray, Dean, Roman, and Cesaro. All the other people would have been spots like Kofi doing anything to stay in the ring, which does get boring, by the way. Yes, when you want to talk about predictability in the Rumble, Kofi Kingston is going to go in, he's not going to win, he's going to do some kind of crazy spot. and that's just what he does, and that's why nobody cares. And that's why, realistically, I believe that that's why they didn't put much effort into his save this year, because I don't think it should be obligatory that he has a save every year, because nobody will care. John Morrison ran the same risk, except he left the company. And you know the WWE is going to find a way to put Cena in the match in some kind of way, and we all know that will happen. Hashtag facts. The winner would guaranteed be Roman Reigns. See, this is the thing. I don't know that changing the rules of the match or changing the other participants in the match would have changed the fact that Roman Reigns was the winner. Roman Reigns was their winner from day one, and you know, I don't really mind that fact, which is, again, what I'm going to get into in another video. And no, you got John Cena that's about to break Ric Flair's title record. You're not going to get John Cena. You're not going to shoehorn John Cena into a title-less Rumble. You're just not. He's a former tag champ. He's a former Rumble winner himself. If we go back up to Zohan's theory of, you know, eliminating former Rumble winners, he's going to be a 16-time champion. He's going to tie Ric Flair. So if you legitimately stuck to a world title-less Rumble, there's no way John Cena could get it. And that's one of the upsides, let's be real. I mean, not that I hate all of them, but it would get rid of the dead weight that a lot of people complain about. John Cena, Randy Orton, Sheamus, Big Show, Kane. It would eliminate run-ins by guys like Triple H. The one place I would sort of be lax on it is the run-ins and stuff like that. The sorry, not the run-ins, the guest participants. So, say if you wanted to have Bret Hart come down for a minute or two, you know Bret Hart's not going to win. So the fact that he's a former world champ wouldn't affect it as much. But then again, you'd have fans nitpick it to death. Would that slowly lead to the elimination of surprise entrants? Maybe. Will we reach a point in time where we don't need surprise entrants to make the Rumble worth it? If we do what I said back in what I believe was Logan's suggestion, building up the roster, making it thick enough to stand on its own, will we build up our roster to the point where we don't need special entrants like DDP or the Boogeyman did this year? I don't know. Because as good as the roster is, and as much as the roster can sustain itself, I think people expect those run-ins because they're just fun. It's like Heath Slater coming down and wanting to sing a rock song for a couple of seconds before he gets eliminated. You know, Kane eliminates Drew Carey, and then the Honky Tonk Man wants to sing his song, and then he gets a guitar to the head, and Kane just shakes his head. We need those comedy moments, so maybe we need those not celebrity, but legend run-ins, celebrity run-ins. Much more to the point that it's not that the roster isn't good enough to hold our attention, but because we've come to expect that extra unexpected element. When Diesel came back, prime example. When, who else? Like I say, DDP got a big pop this year, in his DDP yoga shirt, whatever. Boogeyman going face-to-face with Bray Wyatt was incredible. I don't think either one of those is an indication that the roster sucks. It's the Rumble, and it's what happens. And it's where I would forgive the whole former champions thing in DDP's case. But I really, really do think that this is a fun idea to play with, and you can twist it and turn it and combine it with things and just add different tweaks and twists to the Rumble match, which is something everybody always loves. The year, okay, people don't like it now because they know how the match went and they know who won and rah. But when people initially heard that a couple years ago, the year that Alberto Del Rio won, that we were going to have a 40-man Rumble, some people started salivating, metaphorically speaking, obviously. But it's just... the Rumble is something that always grabs you, no matter how much people are jaded and pretend to hate the company. The Rumble is something that everybody will watch. There are people I know that I speak to online, the only pay-per-view they watch all year is the Rumble. I mean, do I agree? Do I, believe them 100%? No, I'm pretty sure if they watch the Rumble, they're watching Mania. But, I mean, like, these are people that drop wrestling for the rest of the year. Rumble gets them back. Rumble is a once-a-year thing. Rumble is... it is what it is. It's WWE's New Year's Day. It starts the year. It sets the pace. It gives the people that like to complain something to complain about. But yeah, I really do think the elimination of former champions would take a lot of dead weight out of this. A lot of other people have given me some reasons to think otherwise in this interaction, and some suggestions for stuff that we could do instead. And for my very first fan interaction, fan answer, this has been fantastic. There's one coming up next Friday, and oh, it's going to be a treat. It has to do with Triple H, but that's all I'm going to say for right now. Thank you to everybody that answered. I hope even more of you jump on board next time. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm tagging out, guys. Have a good weekend.